Welcome back to the channel, coin lovers and curious collectors alike. Today, we have something truly delightful to explore: the 2004 Australian 50-cent coin featuring the Australian fauna, the lorikeet, koala, and wombat. This is a coin that not only carries faith but also tells a story of creativity, culture, and collector interest. So if you've ever wondered what makes this piece special or how much it might be worth today, stick around. We're diving deep and keeping it fun and positive all the way. Let's start with a bit of history. The 2004 Australian 50-cent coin was part of the Australian Fauna series, and it holds a unique place in the hearts of many collectors because of its design story. What sets this coin apart is that the reverse design was not simply chosen by seasoned artists or mint officials. It came from the artistic imagination of a young student. Back in 2003, the Royal Australian Mint held a national student design competition with the theme Australia, inviting primary school students to submit their interpretations. After an exciting process involving thousands of entries from talented young designers around the country, the winning design was created by a 12-year-old student named John Serrano. His charming depiction of a koala, wombat, and lorikeet was chosen by public vote and then sculpted for minting a truly heartwarming story that brings a human touch to this piece of Australian currency. The coin was then released into general circulation in 2004 to widespread. Physically, this coin is a joy to hold and admire. It's made from a copper-nickel alloy, giving it a bright silver-like appearance, and it has a distinct 12-sided shape that Australia's 50-cent coins are known for. The standard circulating version weighs about 15.55 grams and measures around 31.5 millimeters across. Its edge is smooth, and the obverse features the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, a respectful nod to Australia's coinage tradition. Collectors particularly cherish examples in very fine condition, which is a grade suggesting the coin has light wear but still much of its design, detail, and visual appeal intact. Now, while this coin was struck in relatively large numbers, over 10 million were placed into circulation, and most examples you'll find are common. Those in better condition, especially from rolls or uncirculated sets, can still draw attention from numismatists around the world. So, what about collector demand? This coin is loved not just because of its popular animal motif, but because of the story behind its design. Many collectors are drawn to coins with narratives, and the fact that this one came from a young student artist makes it a conversation piece in any collection. In circulated grades, it tends to be a friendly coin for beginners to own and enjoy, while stricter collectors might focus on finding examples with sharper strike detail or coins that came from original mint packs or cases. And of course, variations like uncirculated or silver-proof issues from that year add another layer of interest for more advanced collectors. Now let's talk market value today. If you were to check online marketplaces or coin catalogs, you'll find that the typical 2004 Australian fauna 50-cent coin in circulated or very fine condition usually trades for only a bit above, think, a couple of $1,048,000, $75,000, or a few Australian dollars if it's the standard copper-nickel version. That's because it's not particularly rare in those conditions, and many thousands were struck for general use. However, it's important to remember that market listings vary. Some sellers list worn examples for low prices, while better preserved coins, especially those in uncirculated or special presentation formats, can sell for higher, more collectible prices. There are occasional listings online where a 2004 coin is offered at premium prices, but often these are rare or special pieces or priced by enthusiastic sellers. The key takeaway is that this coin remains highly accessible to collectors, and in nice condition, you're likely looking at something that's both charming and affordable. For those of you out there who are building a collection or thinking about getting started, I've got a few tips to share. First, always handle coins with care, hold them by the edges, and consider using soft gloves to avoid oils from your fingers dulling the surface. Second, learn to grade your coins realistically, as this will help you understand what you have and how others describe similar pieces. Third, use trusted platforms and communities to compare prices and connect with other collectors. There's a world of coin enthusiasts out there who love to share knowledge and help each other grow. And finally, enjoy your coins. Whether they're rare or common, every coin has a story, and part of the joy in collecting is discovering theirs. In conclusion, the 2004 Australian 50-cent coin featuring the lorikeet, koala, and wombat is a wonderful example of how coins can capture creativity, national character, and a bit of history. Its pleasant design story, solid construction, and presence in collections around the world make it a piece worth celebrating. If you're lucky enough to have one in very fine condition, you're holding a little piece of Australian culture that's sure to spark smiles and start conversations. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into another fascinating coin, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next treasure from the world of numismatics. Next up, today we're diving into a fascinating piece of numismatic history, the 1970 Australian 50-cent coin commemorating the 200th anniversary of Captain Cook's Australian voyage. This coin is more than just loose change. It's a story, a collectible, and for many people, a treasured keepsake. So sit back and let's explore what makes this coin special, how to evaluate its condition, what it's made of, why collectors love it, its current market value today, and some great tips if you're thinking about collecting one yourself. Back in 1970, Australia made history with one of its most iconic decimal-era coins. This 50-cent piece marked the 200th anniversary of Captain James Cook's voyage along the eastern coast of Australia, a voyage that helped shape the modern story of this continent. It was the first commemorative design ever issued on an Australian 50-cent coin, and instead of the usual smooth round shape, it featured a 12-sided form that would become instantly recognizable. On the front, you'll see the classic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, and on the reverse, a detailed depiction of Captain Cook alongside a map of Australia, capturing the spirit of exploration that this coin celebrates. It stands as a beautiful reminder of Australia's rich maritime heritage. Wikipedia. Now, what do people mean when they talk about condition? Well, collectors look closely at how much wear a coin has. A coin in very fine condition has some wear, but all major details are still clear and pleasing to the eye. If it's extremely fine, it looks even better. And if it's uncirculated, it basically looks like it just came off. A very fine coin from 1970, still in great shape, is something to be proud of. It shows that someone took care of it over time, and that care can make the coin more desirable to collectors. I've seen these kinds of coins fetch anything from a few dollars up to higher sums when the condition is really. Let's talk about what this coin is physically. This 50-cent piece is made of copper-nickel, giving it a solid, silver-like appearance that's both durable and iconic. It weighs about measures roughly, and its 12 sides make it instantly recognizable in any collection. Hobby of Kings. This wasn't just a coin, it was a symbol of Australia's growing identity in its decimal currency era, and the design reflects both artistry and historical respect. So, who collects this coin? Honestly, the interest comes from a mix of history lovers, casual collectors, and people who simply appreciate classic coins from around the world. Because this 1970 Captain Cook coin was the first of its kind, and only issued that one year as a commemorative, it has a special place in Australian coin collecting. Now for the part many of you are wondering about, what is this coin really worth today? Well, values can vary quite a bit depending on condition. For coins that are well worn but still in nice shape, most listings show prices in the range of just a few dollars, often around $1.40, $0 to $1.75, $0 for circulated pieces. If you find one in uncirculated or near mint condition, prices tend to go a bit higher, and some sellers will list them closer to $2.30, $1,000, $2.48, $0 or more, especially if they're in. And here's something important. This coin is much more about historical interest and collecting fun than big investment returns. Unlike ultra-rare coins that jump into the hundreds or thousands, the 1970 Captain Cook 50-cent is generally affordable and widely collected. If you're just starting your coin collecting journey, this is actually a perfect coin to get excited about. Look for examples where the design details are clear and there's minimal wear. Consider investing in some simple protective gear, like soft coin flips or capsules. Keeping a coin in good condition will always help preserve its beauty and potential future value. Always handle your coins gently, holding them by the edges to avoid fingerprints or scratches, and try to get your coin properly graded if you think it might be in especially great shape. Also, when assessing values online or selling, make sure you compare similar condition coins. A very fine example isn't going to sell for the same as one that's heavily worn, and vice versa. Next up, today we're diving into the fascinating story of the 2008 Australia 50 cents coin, especially when it's in fine to fantastic condition, and what it could be worth on the market today. The Australian 50-cent coin has a long heritage. Since its introduction in Australia's decimal currency system, collectors and everyday people alike have admired this beloved coin not just for its, but for its place in history. The 2008 Australian 50-cent piece may look familiar to many because it carries the classic coat of arms design that defines so many Australian coins. What makes this year's issue interesting is that it wasn't a rare or limited edition struck solely for collectors yet today. Collectors around the world are still very keen to add it to their. When we talk about the condition and makeup of the 2008 coin, it helps to know exactly what you're holding. This coin is made of copper-nickel, giving it that bright silvery shine that makes it instantly recognizable. It weighs about and measures roughly the standard dimensions for modern Australian 50-cent pieces. It's round with smooth edges and bears the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, capturing a moment in history when she was the nation's monarch. Despite the high mintages in the tens of millions, the 2008 coins, in fine or uncirculated condition, can still draw interest. That's because most coins find their way into circulation, where wear and tear take their toll. A specimen that has beautiful surfaces, clear details, and minimal marks is like a little time capsule, and that's exactly what collectors love. Even though this particular year didn't have a tiny mintage like some rarer issues, its condition can elevate how it's prized by enthusiasts. You might be wondering what collectors are paying for a coin like this right now. In the current marketplace, values vary based on condition. A regular circulated coin might trade for slightly above if it's well worn, but when you find a 2008 Australian 50 cent in fine condition, the market tells us it can be worth around $1 or $2, or even a bit more sometimes in the range of about $1.48, 0 to $1.70, 0 USD. Coins graded higher, especially uncirculated examples, can fetch a small premium because collectors treasure pieces that have survived the years virtually. For those serious about collecting, this demand makes perfect sense. While the 2008 Australian 50 cent coin isn't one of the rarest Australian issues, it offers a beautiful snapshot of modern Australian numismatics. There are even special uncirculated versions and proof coins graded by top services that can bring noticeably higher prices. A superb example in peak condition has been listed at significantly more, especially if it's certified with a top. So, if you're a collector or someone just curious about turning a small treasure into something more, here's what to keep in mind. Always handle coins gently, ideally wearing gloves, and store them in protective holders away from moisture and fingerprints. When evaluating value, pay attention to how worn a coin is. Collectors adore pieces with sharp detail and bright surfaces. And if you think you might have a truly spectacular coin, consider having it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service. That step can sometimes unlock even more value by giving buyers confidence in the coin's quality and authenticity. As we wrap up, remember this. Coins like the 2008 Australian 50 cents remind us that everyday objects can be windows into heritage and culture. Whether you're just beginning to check your pocket change or you're an experienced collector chasing rare treasures, every coin tells a story and holds a chance for discovery. Keep exploring, keep learning, and most of all, enjoy the rich world of coin collecting, where even a humble 50-cent piece can be appreciated for much more than its. Next up, today, we're taking a close look at an iconic Australian piece, the 1973 Australia 50 cents coin, often nicknamed the Rustback by some collectors, especially when found in fine condition. We'll explore its history, what it's made of, why collectors are interested in it, how much it's worth today in dollars, and some tips if you're thinking about collecting one yourself. So make sure you stick around till the end, because this coin has a story worth telling. Let's start with a bit of history. The Australian 50 cents coin as we know it today is a dodecagonal, that is, 12-sided coin that was introduced in 1969 after the original round 50C piece was withdrawn due to rising silver prices. Now, by 1973, the mint had fully embraced the cupro-nickel design for its durability and long life in circulation. The coin proudly features Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and the Australian coat of arms on the reverse, a classic symbol of national pride. Now, when we talk about condition, fine means a coin that still shows most of its details from the design, but has been gently circulated or carefully stored. The surfaces won't be flawless like uncirculated specimens, but they still retain a pleasing appearance that many collectors cherish. So what exactly is this coin made of? The standard 1973 Australian 50 cents piece is composed of cupro-nickel, a sturdy combination of copper and nickel that gives it that silvery sheen and long life. It weighs around and measures as roughly the flats of its 12-sided. That cupro-nickel blend means the coin won't rust like iron, but over decades, some coins may develop a slightly toned or darker surface, and in older collections, people sometimes refer to this surface look as rust back. Even though that's not literal rust, it gives the coin character and tells a story of its journey through time. Particular issue? Well, the 1973 Australian 50 cents coin has a fairly low mintage compared to many later issues, with just over around 4 million coins struck at the Royal Australian Museum's Victoria collections. That might not sound extremely rare on paper, but in the coin world, it makes this piece significantly more collectible than many other circulation coins from the same era. For many collectors, finding one in nice condition feels a bit like uncovering a piece of history, and there's always a thrill in seeing those classic designs up close. Now, prices can vary widely depending on condition, demand, and where you're buying or selling. In general, a typical 1973 Australian 50 cents coin in circulated fine condition might sell for around a few dollars above face value, often in the $1.40 and $2.50 zero range when offered online by coin sellers or collectors. Of course, coins in very fine, excellent, or uncirculated condition can fetch even more, sometimes selling for several times that amount, especially among dedicated Australian or decimal coin collectors. While online listings vary, many coins in nice condition regularly sell in the $2.50, $2.75, zero bracket. There are also extreme rarities and error coins out there that can bring much higher prices at auction, although those are exceptions rather than the norm. Even so, they show that this series continues to catch the eye of serious collectors worldwide. If you're just getting into coin collecting or specifically targeting 1973 Australian 50 cents coins, here are some helpful tips to make your experience even more rewarding. First, always check the condition carefully. Coins with minimal wear and attractive surfaces naturally attract more interest. Second, consider using a coin holder or album to protect the piece. This not only keeps it safe, but also makes your collection look great on display. And finally, stay informed by comparing prices from coin auctions, collector groups, and online marketplaces. That way you'll always have a sense of what a fair value looks like. So there you have it. The 1973 Australia 50 cents coin is more than just a piece of pocket change. With its rich history, classic design, and solid collector appeal, it stands as a delightful item for anyone interested in decimal coins from around the world. Whether you're just starting your collection or adding to an existing one, understanding the story and market around this coin can help you appreciate it even more. If you're lucky enough to find one in fine condition, hold on to it. You've got a small piece of Australian numismatic history in your hands.